Three, two, one, and we are live. So, welcome back to the second episode of the Monday Morning Solution podcast. And this is your host Adi, and I'm a graduate student at the University of Florida. Absolutely thrilled to have this opportunity to host this podcast. And we have actually reintroduced a new name. So, as you guys, if you saw the first episode of the podcast, it was called the Monday Morning Motivation, and something just didn't seem right with that name. So I kind of switched it to the Monday Morning Solution because my blog actually is also called the Monday Morning Solution. So I just named the podcast with the same thing. And in today's episode, I want to talk about how I, as an international student, personally maximize my productivity routine or get the most done in a day. So while I'm recording this podcast right now, it's 7:20 a.m. I've been awake since 4:30 a.m. today, and woke up. I first of all got one of my meals in because like trying to be an athlete, preparing for my half marathon, gotta eat a lot. So got one of my meals in, and then I edited one of the videos, got some journaling done, some solitude practice, and then started recording this podcast. So here we are, 7:20 a.m. And today I have listed down 7 main points that I learned, especially over the last summer, starting from May of 2024. And these are the 7 things that I have implemented in my life on a daily basis, or I might say I implement them intentionally on a daily basis in my life to make sure that I am getting the most out of everything that is being thrown at me and everything that I have the chance to experience. So, without further ado, let's get into the very first point, which is monomaniac focus on a single task. So, this is something that I learned while I was reading the 5 a.m. Club during the May of 2024, and it is a book from Robin Sharma. If you guys don't know, Robin Sharma is actually one of like really famous productivity and self-help wellness authors in the world. His book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, was like one of the best sellers, and that is also like a wonderful book. I've read that. But in the 5 a.m. Club, he introduced this concept of why highly successful people, geniuses, have this ability of performing so well. And the reason was that they are monomaniacally focused on one single task at a time. They do not compartmentalize or delegate a lot of things to themselves. They are focused on performing a single task to the best of their ability. So I want to just like introduce one of the examples. So when I was in the first year of my graduate studies, one of the very bad habits that I actually had was when I was sitting in the class and the professor was actually teaching us what we used to do and what a lot of kids still do in class, and I can personally see them while doing that. It's like if she's teaching, they are constantly on either LinkedIn trying to search for jobs. They're either on someone's watching YouTube, someone's playing some New York Time games. And I know sometimes the professor, what she's teaching might not be that interesting, but the way this thing works is every single time you are actually diverging your mind from the task at hand, you are leaving focused energy on the table. So if you're doing a single task, that means all of your cognitive bandwidth is actually being associated or being focused on that one task. But as soon as you leave it to do something else, you automatically shift your focus from that one task to the next task. And then when you come back to the first task, you actually do not have the same level of focus, same level of cognitive bandwidth, or same level of energy to do the task. And this is because our mind is not designed to 100% focus on multiple tasks at the same time. Yes, we can multitask very efficiently, but the thing is, we won't be able to give 100% to every single task. And this is actually one of the very main reasons why the generation right now actually feels so drained. Like whenever I am on shift or whenever I'm talking to my colleagues, it's like 10 a.m. in the morning and they are like, oh, I'm so tired. And I'm like, what? How can you be tired? It's 10 a.m. in the morning, and it's not their fault, to be honest. It's just these small things with social media, trying to grasp all of your attention, taking all of your energy out of you. And this is everything related to not being able to focus on a single task at hand. And I think this was something that Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett also emphasized on, is that the single most characteristic trait of a genius would be their ability to focus on a single task for hours at hand, which means to sit down, start working, and not get up from your place or not get distracted basically for hours to come. Be extremely engrossed and obsessed over the task at hand and do not divert your focus. The second part that I want to talk about is filter out before you refine. And this is something that I actually, um, it took me a really long time to figure this one out and implement it in my life. But I realized that you don't necessarily have to be really, really good at something to actually get the most out of it. So, for example, what majority of people, including me, when I first started with my self-help and productivity journey, used to try to do was optimize everything. Like optimize the morning routine, optimize the before the sleep routine, optimize your workouts, and optimize everything. And while doing that, I actually ended up making everything worse because I was so over fixating on things. I was so much obsessed on the tiniest of the details that I actually ended up not making it work at all in the first place. So that was something that I had to understand at a very intricate level, was that a lot of things in life could be made better not by explicitly focusing on them, but rather refining or filtering out all the distractions. So rather than trying to expand or trying to spend your willpower on not eating junk food when you want to lose weight, just stop hanging around with people who eat junk food around you all the time. That is what I mean by filtering. It's like filter the unnecessary stuff from your life and you won't have to refine in the first place. If you just sit down and think about all the things in your life which are unnecessary, they are not required, they are absolutely interfering with your maximal output, just take them out of your life. Don't do it all in the same day, one by one. Refine all of those things, all of the uh, priorities in your life just by filtering out the unnecessary stuff. And uh, there is this really great book from Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. If I'm not wrong, it is titled "Tell Me Where I'll Die and I Want to Go There." And the whole premise of this book was, if you know and you see around you people making a magnitude of mistakes, if you just look at their mistakes and learn from them, you won't have to make those same mistakes by yourself and you won't have to face with the consequences of those mistakes. Look around you, learn from your surroundings, and filter out the stuff that is unnecessary. So some of the things that I personally filtered out initially was grocery shopping. And I know that this might sound really trivial, but just think about it. I used to go to Walmart, and every single time I went there, I used to roam around the aisles and just looking at stuff that I know I'm not going to buy because I'm really conscious about my diet, but it's just fun to watch, right? It's still so much fun to see all these new items being added to shelves and all of that stuff. So what I did was, instead of going to Walmart where I 100% knew that I would spend at least 2 hours every single week on looking at groceries and food items that I was not going to buy, I instead filtered the whole thing out and started shopping at Aldi's. Now, Aldi's is a much smaller place compared to Walmart, but that place also gives me all the food that I want to have. So now, instead of going to Walmart every single week or every 6 days to be exact, I actually go to Aldi's and I buy my groceries for there. And guess how much time it actually requires me to go to Aldi's and buy groceries? Like 40 minutes. I can leave my house, go to Aldi's, get all my groceries, come back home, meal prep the entire thing for the next 3 days, and it takes me 2 hours to do the entire thing. And this is like a very straightforward example of filter before you try to refine. It's like you can become really efficient just by filtering out the things in your life that you do not need. The third point is something that I have been a fan of since the last 7 or 6 years of my life. It's been a long time. Workout every single day. And when I mean workout, I'm not saying go to the gym or power lift or do one specific type of exercise. What I mean by this is move your body. Move your body on a daily basis. It doesn't matter if it's like a power walk, it doesn't matter if it's like a sprint, a long jog, a run, a weight training session, uh, calisthenics, CrossFit, whatever you are into, make sure that you are moving your body every single day. And something that has been really like life changing and highly productive for me is to move my body in a way which actually makes me sweat early in the morning. So today is Sunday, and I'm actually not working out this early in the morning because I have this podcast to record, most definitely. But I actually did go for a walk as soon as I had my meal. And the thing is, when you move your body early in the morning and when you sweat, it releases so many feel good hormones. It releases endorphins, it releases chemicals in your brain which enhance the cognitive functionality of it. So when you work out early in the morning, and actually there is like an interesting study that my recreation center where I work at did. They actually surveyed the students or recorded the GPAs of students who worked out early in the morning, and they found out that people who, or the kids who basically worked out early in the morning before taking their exams or early in the morning in general had higher GPAs compared to students who did not work out at all or worked out later in the day. So that's funny. It's like it has a scientifically proven on paper record of boosting your cognitive functionality. So early morning workouts, it might be a 10-minute jog, a 1 mile run, do 100 push-ups, anything. Like if you work out early in the morning, the benefits are off the chart. It's like it's going to be magnitudes of benefits thrown at you, and you're going to experience it the same day. So work out every single day, not just for the physical benefits of it, but for the mental benefits that it's going to give you. It's going to boost your productivity. It's going to boost your mental health, your hormonal health. It's going to make you feel more energetic, more active. Now, I would highly recommend is that you don't exhaust yourself. If you wake up, go train fasted, which I do not recommend. I never train fasted anymore now. Train fasted, exhaust yourself to the point where you don't want to get out of your sofa, then that is not what I mean, and that is not what I'm asking you guys to do. Exercise moderately. Obviously, you can balance out your own intensity depending upon your own capacity. Don't get exhausted, but optimize that time in the morning to work out. And you will see the results. I can guarantee you, you will see the results. The fourth time is this is this is a funny one, to be honest. It's something that I've been really curious about from the last couple of months. It is time your caffeine right. So as you guys know that I am also a certified personal trainer from NASM. I did it over the summer. The entire summer I spent listening to Andrew Huberman, Andy Galpin. I listened to a bunch of different podcasts. I did my own research. I did my own studies for the certification. And something that actually interests me, like one of the topics that really interests me is like caffeine or coffee in general. And Andrew Huberman has this concept where he says that try to avoid coffee at least 60 minutes to 90 minutes after waking up, because the system of your body, which is your basically the adenosine system on which the caffeine works, is not activated until approximately 60 to 90 minutes after you wake up. So in order to get the maximum benefits of having a coffee, delay it at least 60 to 90 minutes after waking up. And I actually tried this, and it makes so much of a difference. I do not feel the crash. If I drink coffee as soon as I wake up, first of all, it just makes my head hurt. Like my mind cannot tolerate that kind of a stimulus this early in the morning. So I definitely wait at least 60 minutes. I'm going to be honest here. It's not always 90 minutes. It's 60 minutes sometimes. I try to wait it out, and then I have my coffee, and I'm good to go. I feel super energetic throughout the entire morning. I do not crash. And it's just about the quantity of caffeine. I think the World Health Organization has created a threshold at 400 milligrams of caffeine. Now, I'm going to be honest, the days on which I work out, the pre-workout itself is like 300 milligrams. So sometimes my caffeine intake actually exceeds 400 milligrams. But I do not feel any adverse effects of that. I am not insomniac. I get a really good night's sleep, even though I only sleep for 6 hours. It's a beautiful sleep. And what I want to emphasize is, do not consume caffeine at least 8 hours before going to bed. Now, caffeine, like in scientific terms, every single thing has a lifespan, and that lifespan is measured in a terminology called as the half-life of that thing. And caffeine has a half-life of 8 hours. So let's say you are someone who goes to bed at 10 p.m., right? And you're consuming coffee at 5 p.m. Now, the thing is, the coffee is 100% definitely going to hinder with your sleep. And a lot of people have this concept where they think that, hey, you know what, I'm feeling super tired. Let me just go and have a cup of coffee. And that is somehow going to make them feel really good. But what they don't realize is that the adenosine molecule, which actually is responsible for making you feel tired, it is responsible for making you feel a little fatigued, that has actually accumulated and binded to the receptors. So when you consume caffeine, the caffeine molecules, which can also bind to the adenosine receptors, stay in the bloodstream. They don't do anything, they just stay there in the bloodstream. And when the adenosine, which is binded to the adenosine receptors, wears off, these caffeine molecules will now go and then attach themselves to the receptor sites. And that is when you will feel the effect of caffeine, which is usually when you're already asleep at night. So I've seen a lot of people who are like, hey, I don't know why, but I've been waking up in the middle of the night out of nowhere. I don't have any problem falling asleep, but I'll just wake up out of nowhere at 2 a.m. in the morning, and I don't know why, and I can't go back to sleep. That is exactly because of this. It's because the caffeine molecules are now binding to your adenosine receptors that late in the night, and that is why you have a really bad sleep. And bad sleep, in my opinion, is one of the most contributing factors towards a lack of productivity and lack of energy throughout the entire day. So even though this might seem as a very tiny or minuscule contribution, it is highly important to time your caffeine rightly, time your coffee right, and this will actually affect or enhance or mar so much of your productivity. The fifth point, this is another important one, which is avoiding the energy vampires. So this is again something which is influenced by Robin Sharma. Actually, this is something that has been used by a lot of different authors. I remember Robert Kiyosaki saying this. I remember Robert Greene saying this. I remember Robin Sharma saying this. Uh, what do you mean by an energy vampire? So it is a straightforward term. It means that people who suck all your energy. There are two types of people in this world. One, whenever you meet them, you feel like you are the most joyful and happy person in the entire planet. These people make you feel that you are important. They make you feel loved. They support you. And it's just like, as soon as you leave that person, as soon as you come home, you feel full of energy, you feel full of vigor, and you are just like shining. And then there are the second type of people who drain out all of your energy. These are the people, when you meet them, you might be on a neutral mode while you're talking to them, but as soon as you leave or as soon as you come home, you realize that you don't have any energy left. It's like you are exhausted, you don't want to do anything, and you just go to sleep probably. And the sad reality is, sometimes these people might just be our bestest friend. They might be the person that we are seeing at the moment or dating. And the worst case might be that they might actually be our parents. And you need to accept the fact. It's like, I'm not saying cut out the energy vampires from your life, or especially if they are your close blood relatives. What I'm trying to say is that know who you want to spend your time with and who you want to give your attention to. Spending time with people who support your vision, who support your goals, who understand you is going to take you way further in life than the spending time with people who might be your friends, might be your girlfriend. They might laugh with you, talk to you, gossip with you about different people, but they are not necessarily advantageous or contributory to your success in life. And you need to stay away from these people because energy, especially emotional energy and cognitive bandwidth, are a very limited resource. You wake up every single morning with a specific amount of energy and a specific amount of cognitive bandwidth, and you need to prioritize where you spend these things throughout the entire day. You cannot give this energy to people who first do not deserve it, second are just going to take it from you and not reciprocate back some positive energy to you, and third going to leave you worse than they found you, because energy vampires, right? It's their job to suck out energy from you for their own personal well-being. And something that has really helped me be more productive, be more energetic throughout the day. So let me just give you an example. I am awake 16 hours, 18 hours a day. I sleep for approximately 6 hours. From those 18 hours, I'm physically active, which means I'm either working out or running at least 3 hours every day, right? So that leaves us with 15 hours. Then I have classes, I have my part-time job, I have a project that I'm working on for myself. I have to edit videos, I have to record podcasts, I have to create daily shorts and all of that stuff. And just imagine, it surprises me as to how I get all of this energy from. And then I look around myself and I literally hang out with no one. So the only people that I have fluent conversations with are the people that I work with on my part-time job, and a minute amount of my time throughout the day is given to my roommates. I meet them in the kitchen or the hallway and we just have like a 5-minute conversation and that's it. And I know this might sound absurd, lonely, but the fact is, ever since this actually happened, I have had the most extraordinary amount of energy in my life. Like my co-workers, the people I work with, the people I hang around sometimes in the gym, they are like surprised after seeing how much energy I have. And it was just day before yesterday that it happened. Was I showed up on one of my shifts at my part-time job, and there was one of my coworkers there, and she said this to me. She said, "I love it how you're so full of energy all the time, and you just radiate so much positivity." And I felt so good after she said that, and I told her, thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that, and I genuinely am surprised by myself. It's like, how is this even possible? It's like I made this really ridiculous statement. I said my physical body is not, it is the exact statement that I made. So I said my physical body is not strong of a vessel to hold my spiritual energy. And she looks at me and she says, if this statement was coming from anyone else other than you, I would have laughed off in their face and I would have said that this is the most ridiculous statement I've said. But just because you are saying that, I agree. I believe that. And that is when I realized how much of a difference preserving your energy and not giving it to the people who drain it out of you makes in your life. It's like you don't need as much sleep now. You don't need to feel bad. You feel invigorated all the time. You feel super like you're just on your toes all the time. It's like you want to get out, you want to work out, you want to study, you want to like do all of these things. And this is what is driven by the energy that you're not giving to the energy vampires. I hope I made my point clear. The sixth and the second last point of the day is to practice a concept called as the daily 5. Now this is again something I learned from the 5 a.m. club, Robin Sharma. And I want to make this clear. A lot of people, when they want to be productive, I am a huge fan of Ali Abdaal. I've binged hundreds of his videos, but I haven't read his book yet. That's sad. I'm really looking forward to reading his book. But his book, Feel Good Productivity, and his channel in general also emphasizes a lot on this concept. Is like people feel being productive is doing 100 things throughout the entire day successfully, and then going to bed thinking, oh, look how good I am because I did all of these things throughout the day. And then the next day they wake up and they're so burned out, they are so fatigued because the goals that they set for the previous day and the day today are so unrealistic. It's like it's impossible to do all of those things once again and then do them again tomorrow and then do them again tomorrow, because productivity is not a micro cycle, it is a long term game. You need to be creating a routine throughout the entire day or throughout a week that is going to help you maintain that thing for years to come. Now, the daily 5 concept is such that you will wake up early in the morning, like I do, or if you can't wake up early in the morning, wake up whenever you can. Take a whiteboard. I bought one from Walmart, it's probably like $2. And then write down the 5 tasks that you want to complete in that day. And you will only write down the 5 tasks. You will not write down 10, you will not write down 7, you will not write down 15, you will only write down 5. And the point of doing that is you will keep those tasks in front of your eyes the entire day, and you will only focus all of your energy on completing those 5 tasks, the daily 5. And when I did this my first day, experimented on myself, I realized that I was actually not able to complete those 5 tasks that efficiently. And that actually surprised me because I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to do 10 things throughout the day. I'm going to create a short, I'm going to record a podcast, I'm going to edit some of my YouTube videos, I'm going to go work out, I'm going to go on my run, I'm going to do my part-time job. And I wanted to do all of these things, but I wasn't doing any of them properly. So when I did my first daily 5, I actually ended up only doing 4 of those things perfectly. And one of those things actually was carried over to the next day. And that's when I realized is that doing stuff efficiently is so much more difficult and so much more important than doing 100 things inefficiently every single day. So the way you do daily 5 is whatever things that you are planning to do for that day, you reduce them down to the top 5 things which are your highest priority things, whatever they might be. Write them down, and then you're going to do one thing at a time. You're not going to multitask. As I mentioned in my first point, it was like, don't multitask. Let's say you have these 5 tasks. Let's say you want to go work out, do your homework, go out for a run, meal prep, and then it can be something as casual as watch an anime episode. Right now you have these 5 things. You are only going to do these 5 things in that day. Whatever remainder of the time you have, spend it on yourself, read books, go out for walks, and then the next day you wake up, you're again going to write 5 different things, and then you're going to do those 5 things again, and then this cycle keeps on continuing. And Robin had this amazing quote in his book. He said, small insignificant things added over a long time bring tremendous results. Small insignificant changes done on a daily basis over a long period of time lead to extraordinary results. And that is the exact point that I'm trying to make. Do these 5 things for a week and let those weeks turn into months and years. And by the end of the year, you'll realize how much you have actually achieved in that year by just doing those 5 things on a daily basis. And that is the daily 5 practice. Stop trying to do 100 things. Stop trying to do 15 things. Just focus on 5 priority tasks every single day. Get them done. Move on to the next 5 tasks the next day. And make sure that you are actually focusing on one task at a time and not distributing your energy throughout the different tasks at the same time. The last and the final point for today, and this is a revolutionary one. This is the bread and butter of my productivity cycle. This is the one thing that has given me exponential results, and I saved it for the last. It is something called as the grayscale detox. Now just hold on, my throat is extremely dry and I need to sip some water. Okay, so getting back, it is something called as the grayscale detox. Now, I first heard about this somewhere around June 2024, and I heard this from Alex Hormozy, where he said that his screen or his entire phone rather is grayscaled, which means it doesn't have colors, it's black and white. And he mentions this experiment or a randomized controlled trial where a group of people were made to switch their phones from color to grayscale, and they measured their screen times on their phone. And turns out that within a span of 1 week, I hope I'm not wrong about this. It's been a long time since I actually saw this study. It's like within a span of 1 week, their screen time actually went down by 36%, which is like an extraordinary number. Just think about it. 36% down in a week just by making one small change. So I thought this sounds so interesting. I'm going to give this a try. The next day I actually woke up and my phone was grayscaled by then. I didn't check my phone because there were no colors. And then over the next 1 week, my screen time actually went down by 40%. And that's when it clicked to me. It's like there is some merit to this. So from that day to this day, which has been probably like 4 5 months, my phone is always grayscale. There are no colors on my phone, and it's actually sad because they just pulled out the new iOS 18 update, and it actually looks pretty cool. But my phone is still black and white, and it's going to be black and white for the rest of my life. So I know you need to always lead with results, right? So I'm going to put up a screenshot for all those who are watching on YouTube. I'm going to put up a screenshot on the screen for my screen time. Now, according to survey, Gen Z uses their phone, like the average screen time of Gen Z on their phone every single day is anywhere between 7 to 8 hours, which is ridiculous because listen to this. Gen Z is now using their phones more than they are sleeping on a daily basis. Gen Z sleeps 6 hours approximately every single day. However, their phone usage has now exceeded almost 7.5 to 8 hours a day. Let that sink in. Let that statement sink into your mind. Kids are using their phones for 7 hours every single day. This, I can't believe this. Like, I'm Gen Z as well, I'm 23. And my screen time on an average every day is 1 hour and 15 minutes. And I can't believe it. Like, what? Like, my phone screen time is 1 hour and 15 minutes on average, or 1 hour or 30 minutes. And that is only because I'm currently uploading a short every single day on YouTube. And I record with my phone, I edit with my phone, and I upload with my phone. And on top of that, whenever I'm using WhatsApp, those are the only two things, like either WhatsApp or the camera. That's it. And sometimes it's YouTube. And sometimes it's Spotify because I'm binging podcasts the entire day, literally. So just the fact that kids are using their phones for 7.5 to 8 hours every single day blows my mind. And whenever I meet someone who's going through this, where they want to reduce their screen time, but they're addicted to TikTok, they're addicted to Instagram, I usually recommend this. It's like, turn your phone to grayscale. Now, the science behind this, which I haven't looked into depth, but from my knowledge of things, from what I have learned over the past few months, it's that your brain is very attracted to high contrast colors. Just look at your phone. The blues, the greens, the reds in your phone are so much more dense than what you see in the nature, right? So the first thing that actually happened after I turned my phone to grayscale was that I started seeing the colors in nature with much more beauty and with much more vibrance. It's like everything was just turned up in contrast, turned up in brightness, turned up in saturation. The colors on your electronic devices are extremely saturated, and they usually do this so that they can grab your attention. Like Instagram, the color schemes used within their app, they are primarily designed to keep you hooked onto the app. And the whole phone is designed basically to keep you hooked onto it. They don't want you to drop the phone. They don't want you to turn off the Instagram, because they need you to keep viewing their content so that they can keep pushing ads at you, they can keep making money. But that's like a whole different topic. The point that I'm trying to make is that the high saturation, high contrast colors keep you hooked onto those devices for a really long period of time. And that is actually just being bolstered by the whole concept of the attention spans dropping and everything else. But again, as I said, that is a conversation for a different episode. The point is, right after I went grayscale, I literally stopped using my phone. I didn't, and I don't know how, like I said, I haven't studied this in the entirety of its depth, but two things happened. First, I stopped using my phone that often because I was no longer interested in trying to look at the screen. And second, I actually started enjoying nature much more. Like, I actually felt like I wanted to be outside more. I wanted to look at trees, I wanted to look at the skies, because they just started appearing more saturated to me because my eyes adapted over time. And now, talking about the application, I do not recommend switching your phone completely to grayscale, because to be honest, it is not realistic. Like, just because I'm doing it doesn't mean anyone else has to do it. What I would highly recommend is to use grayscale for the first 2 hours of your day and 2 hours before going to sleep. Switch your phone off, or turn your phone to grayscale 2 hours before going to bed, 2 hours after you wake up, and try not to use your phone during that time. That in itself will make so much of a difference with how you approach your work life balance, or how you approach your timing of things, how you go to bed, how you feel when you wake up. You will have higher amounts of energy, which I can definitely guarantee. Your attention span to focus on things which actually matter, like I said in the first part, it's monomaniac focus on one thing. This will drastically improve as you go through your day, because you did not start your day by scrolling different apps. You did not start your day by consuming news that don't necessarily affect your life in any way and create an impact on you, but only leave you feeling bad about the world and bad about yourself. The grayscale detox, this was the most revolutionary thing. And like I said, I would definitely put up a screenshot, but the guys who are listening to this on Spotify, or I don't know what platforms this podcast is gonna go, because I haven't uploaded the first episode yet. But the fact that I can do this, someone like me, I used to have like 7 hours of screen time a day as well. And I thought I was an anomaly. Like, I thought like I was an exception. I was addicted to my phone, but turns out that it's so ubiquitous now. It's like everyone is having the same problem. Everyone is addicted to their phone. And you know, this part of your brain which is called like the reticular activating system, it is basically an ideology that whatever thing you desire, or whatever thing that you seek for, your brain kind of subconsciously shows those things to you. It's basically like when you buy a new watch, you buy the new Apple Watch Series 10, and all of a sudden when you go out, you start noticing everyone who is wearing the same exact watch. It's because your mind is being programmed intrinsically to show you the thing that you've been thinking of the entire time. So that thing actually, the way it works is that I started noticing more and more people on their phone the entire time. So when I work in the recreational facility, between the sets, every single one of them is on their phone. Like, why? You're there to work out, right? Why would you check your phone between sets, or why would you chat with people? Just work out, go home, take out maybe half an hour to 45 minutes from your day, and then message everyone you want, talk to anyone you want. But the fact that now I'm noticing this much more makes a lot of sense to me. It's like, now I realize that they might actually be spending that much time on their phones rather than involving into the real world, having experiences with real life, and so on. So those were my 7 points. I'm going to repeat them once again. First one, monomaniac focus on one single task at a time. Second, filter out before you refine. Third, work out every single day. Fourth, time your caffeine right. 5, avoiding the energy vampires. 6, practice the daily 5. And 7, the grayscale detox. These were my 7 points that I personally implemented in my life to maximize my productivity. And even though these are not, most of them are not any scientifically evidence based proven methodologies. They actually work because they worked on me. So if you are someone who's trying to make a better life for themselves, who's trying to maximize their productivity, who wants to feel invigorated throughout the entire day, who wants to have tremendously high energy levels that people actually think you're a freak, do give these things a try. They're pretty simple, they don't cost you anything extra, they would just take like a few minutes of your time in a day. Give them a try. This was the episode, and thank you so much for watching so far. I would highly encourage you guys, if you are interested in seeing how me as an international student here in the United States tackle my day-to-day life, I also have a YouTube channel where I'm constantly posting YouTube shorts of my daily day in the life, as well as vlogs every single week. I'm currently on my half marathon prep, which is on November 10th, and you guys can enjoy or travel along with me throughout the entire prep on my YouTube channel. So go check out my YouTube channel, which is Aditya Thakur, and also do check out my blog, which is the Monday Morning Solution, just the same name as the podcast, the Monday Morning Solution. Thank you so much for watching. This is it for today, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a good one. Oh, oh.